Hello, everybody. And how long has it been since we hit this intro? Wow, so long. A month, or maybe even longer. I don't remember. I got no idea. I have no recollection. My brain is half dead. So, but we're back.
Too long. Too long.
Yeah. Unfortunately, only the trio could make it. But, you know, life happens. And so Felicia is delayed for an unforeseen amount of time. But maybe sometime in the future we should join back. But because, you know, we're here to play, we're here to stay, we decided to continue walking on. I bet some people thought, man, they just threw the towel so close in front of episode 100. Hell no. That's the least you can do. It's the least you can do is get to those triple digits, man.
Yes.
Yeah, because you know I have already been preparing something special for that, so it would be super sad if we actually don't reach it. Anyways, before I throw empty promises in the room like I usually do, like with the very often promised recap episode that just isn't gonna happen. Who knows? Who knows? Fabled. It's a myth now. Maybe sometime. Maybe episode 1000 and I'll do it. Anyways, we are back. And I guess question of the day is, what's the last thing you remember?
Uh-oh.
It's definitely not for me. I know everything that happens. Definitely for you guys. And you... Yeah.
The last note I have is that I used 5 minutes of my boots.
Wow.
I don't remember what for. I think we were walking. We decided to go towards the tree.
Uh-huh. Okay, what's the last big thing that happened? I guess walking towards the tree it is.
Yeah. I think. God.
All right, Matt.
Okay. Yeah, I'm Matt. I play Fiera, who is proficient with history, so I could probably add to that. Yeah, so we're around the Caravan Ravine. I saw a big tree on the map and figured we should probably go there first. So we teleported there. Some success, some not so success. Yeah, once we got there, there were a bunch of undead that seemed to have stayed from a big battle between, you know, I guess the Lichnius and Chronic and Fey elements. The Avatar was there, who was built through like the means of all these different magics, but was broken, which was really sad. Also, they forgot their name. But we put it to rest. And now we would like to rest because I know I'm beat up. Oh, we also got the... we got something. Yes, the Sylvis eyeball is now with Izero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a perfect segue, Skid.
Hi, I'm Skit. I play Sarah Leafina, the Druid Cleric. I remember we got close-ish to the tree, and then we had a battle with a big thing that was very mean. And then it said, like, thank you for releasing me or whatever, and that's what I remember.
Nice.
And I lost my notes, so I can't even look at my notes.
Damn. I mean, basically, Matt had already everything. Yeah. I mean, the only thing you can reread is just the item description. I think that will give you...
Oh, right, I got an item. I forgot I had an item. Right, that's
There we
true.
go. Well, while she does that, I guess
Wow.
we would just jump right into the intro, and then I just have my recap, because I do actually remember. And I definitely didn't rewatch the episode, which only I have access to, so I can refresh my memory now. That definitely didn't happen. That definitely didn't happen. So with that, we'll just jump right in. We'll just jump right in.
The blood that was spilled, it soaked within the earth. It dried and will be forgotten. Depraved maniacs who wished nothing more than to dream of what could be. They were a necessary alliance to get what we needed. A little bit of time. Though their meager efforts were even worse than anticipated. This is why we do not trust foreign powers, my liege. Faith wanes. It is highly unreliable. We do not worship. We study. We do not pray. We calculate. We do not hope. We act. With this device, the doors that it will open for us, the potential which it will unlock, it will be a turning point in our scientific history. The blueprints deciphered from the remnants of the forges of war. These are the only scriptures we need. No alliance, no faction nor nation is strong enough to stop the engines of destruction which excuse me, we have built. All it took was a little more time. Glory will be brought to us, and we shall reign indisputably over the entire continent. No legions, no battalions, no military will be able to stand in our way. No demon nor angel will have the power to stop us. We shall reign as true rulers. Thine royalty, it befits the crown to rule all. Distant are the reliance on the so-called light. We shall show them what light is, and we shall show them what true freedom and supremacy looks like. My king and dearest queen, thine throne befits nothing less than power, and I, your humble scientist, shall give you the power it deserves.
Yes, yes, yes. Well, we'll come to a quick recap, which, basically Matt has already said everything that needs to be said, but I'll just repeat it once again. After you guys successfully got announced heroes of the tasks that you completed within Melador's dungeon, you then took a quick break, went to Korvali, the place of birth from Israel. Kind of just mingled there for a bit, found out a few tidbits of information what has been going inside of this city since your departure as well. And we found out that the parents of Arya, your unfortunate dead comrade, has also been, or they have also been in somewhat of a pickle. And, after a bit of discussing, you then, however, had one unified goal, something that you've been talking about already, which is that Jade's past seems to be somewhat connected to something that has been going on, and you have been kind of flirting with the idea of visiting the ravine at some point. And now that Fiera has unlocked the special ability of instant transportation to a location that she's somewhat aware of, you decided to take your chances and do exactly that. After getting your hands on a piece of parchment on which the caravan ravine was kind of, drawn on a map, you saw that obviously within the Great Servalon Woods there are many different locales that can be visited, and to not risking accidentally falling within the ravine itself and probably sudden or certain death, you wish to go to one of the landmarks which is somewhat close, but not too close that would, risk this potential fatal flaw of happening. And obviously a big tree on a map at least catches one of you guys' interests, which is Azrael, and with a little bit of convincing, the entire group decided that is the place where you want to head next. The Death Tree Ward. And with some lucky rolls, you managed to get there. And as you went there, it looked to be a landscape entirely filled with tombstones, or more like big rocks, but you would soon to learn, or come to learn, that these are actually tombstones, as out of the ground you were attacked by wraiths, kind of long lost dead spirits that still seem to be somewhat connected and tethered to this place, though only their wrathful and spiteful remnant magical bits remained here. And with the help of Jade, you actually managed to escape the assault from this large group. However, as you approach the large, dead, broken tree that's kind of only the trunk itself lies fractured there, you encountered the fallen tree avatar that seemed to be an ancient guardian that was kind of built and or created to protect the tree that once loomed over here. But though through the potential of the angelic war and obviously the passing of time, much of his scripture was broken as his body was torn apart, and it seems like his commands have been altered in such a way that it seems to have now thought that every soul that he comes by needs to be brought to the afterlife, even the living ones. And so he reaped and sowed, and also attempted to reap and sow your guys' soul. However, you were smart enough to avoid that from happening, and instead managed to bring peace back to this avatar. And after you did so, you received the very orb that kind of gave this entity its life, the Eye of Silvers. And after you've received that, you're kind of gathered to the base of this large tree, as there were a lot of nooks and crannies and kind of like large caves that were just kind of, naturally occurred by the structure itself, and just found a spot where you could sit down and rest. And Israel, you obviously being in the close vicinity of such a large tree, tried to communicate with it, but very quickly came to the realization that this is a long lost and deceased tree that does not have the ability to speak back. However, you did get this resonant feeling that a purpose that has now been lost through the death of the fallen tree avatar has been now placed into your hands as you attuned to this Eye of Silvers, a path that you already have been following, and it seems like that you are the next torchbearer of whatever path or whatever goal Silver's placed into this tree avatar. And that is where we left off over a month ago. And that is where we're going to jump back in. So you're still broken and beaten. You traveled a bit to get to the base of this tree. And you can still see it looming above you. It's a grey sky. And it's almost starting to get evening. So it's like around 5 o'clock. The temperature is comfortably warm right now. It's quite humid though. And yeah, you have found yourself a nice spot where probably Eric and Fiero, you have already kind of sat down and you were just looking at Isarel as she was doing her thing with the tree.
What happens to the eye when she, goes into the zone?
When she attunes to it, you mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Nothing much actually. Like when she kind of looked towards it, it didn't change, shift, or showed any visible behavior that she has now attuned to. It seems to stay stagnant. The only thing that I saw you would notice when holding it, it was humming the entire time. When you weren't attuned to it, it gave off like this very soft hum. Has now completely stopped. It isn't humming anymore. Oh, you muted.
How big is it? Is it like the palm of my hand, or is it like a basketball that I am gonna have to like walk around with?
No, it's like a coconut. It's about this big. A small coconut, yeah. And it's not heavy. It's also not heavy. It seems to be... You get almost a sense that it's hollow because it's so light, but it's made out of some metal alloy that is... It feels almost like copper, but it's very, very... how should you call it? Stable. So though it's light, and usually if you have like, a thin plate of metal, it feels like you can, squeeze it. You get the same sensation, but no matter how much pressure you put onto it, it doesn't seem to budge a bit.
Alright, once I'm attuned to it, in the bag it goes. Well, in my bag. Regular bag. 'Cause
Yeah.
I don't want to send it into a pocket dimension while attuned to it. I don't know how that would work, but yeah. I'm not taking any chances.
Okay, well, how about finding a place to stay for the night?
We should probably find a safe place to rest, yes.
I don't know if I can bring the tower up today. I apparently went through a lot of spells. So,
I
a
can
little bit
put
low.
up... I can... Hold on. Yeah, I can put up the terrain if we need to. I can put an illusion up. Like, we can find somewhere between those roots where we can be a little bit protected, and I can put up the illusion that we're not here while we rest.
Yeah. Let's look for a good spot.
Yeah, whoever's on the lookout can choose to make a perception or survival check.
Hey, do I want my updated perception or my updated survival?
Jeez. Oh, they're both
Apparently
wisdom,
they're
right?
still bad.
Yeah. Well, with Eric, however, on the horizon, or kind of, taking the helm of that, I swear you are still somewhat in awe of the tree, so sometimes you just catch yourself that you kind of zoned out and just imagine how this tree would have looked in full grown splendor.
If it was alive.
Yeah, you're like...
Still thinking about the conversations I could have had with it.
Yeah, reminiscing about the past you never had. While Eric, you're focused on the task at hand. You sometimes catch Isra just drifting away, and you're like, okay, give her a bit of time. Yeah, so there are a lot of the large roots that still, kind of come out of the base of the tree trunk, like claws digging down, and some bits of pieces have been broken off. So there are quite a lot of, like I said, nooks and crannies and smaller caves inside of the bark itself that, much like the one wound you have been before, is petrified over. So most of it is similar to stone. And it's easy enough that, you kind of just go a little bit deeper into the kind of large entanglement of the large roots, that you find a spot that seems to be comfortable enough and well protected from both weather, though the weather right now seems to be rather comfortable, and or any potential assaults that could occur. It's like a nice cove. Has a bit of opening up ahead, so a bit of sunlight comes in, but you can go deeper if it does rain, so you're protected from that as well. And you have a clear view in front of you, and however, you aren't directly in the open, so anyone who passes by would just immediately see you camping there. And you think even if you put like a little fire here, the kind of cove is large enough that it would even obscure part of the smoke, so you feel pretty comfortable there.
Nice.
The other thing that you also find as you kind of step inside and you kind of call both of your friends there, you see that a kind of that this mostly is natural structure, but in one side, almost like carved into like this petrified bark, seems to be what looks to be like a little shrine.
I mean, I'll go over and look at it before everyone else gets in, just to see it for myself first.
Yeah, go closer. It's like you would imagine a small shrine that's been kind of just dug into a piece of stone, where you can see it was probably in the time was built, was fancily made, but you notice immediately this isn't a new shrine that someone recently dug or built here or carved out. It was probably done when the tree was still alive, and you can see that because the bits and pieces of the exterior are also petrified, which wouldn't be the case if it was newly carved. You would see the scratch marks and stuff like that, but you don't. And yeah, it's like this little alcove that's been carved inside. There's like a small bowl that was also carved there. It's kind of just laying there, though it is broken, many bits and pieces. And there are like many different symbols that have been carved inside. And one of them you do recognize because that Isra showed it to you before. It's this kind of tree that hugs two circles on the top and on the bottom.
Since I recognize it, I'll definitely point it out. And guys, I don't know. This Izrael might be able to help us here, but I just want to make sure that we're not going to be stepping on someone's like resting
Turf.
place, or
Yeah, I'll definitely go and inspect it and try to compare it to the one shrine that I found when I was looking for Servalon.
Yeah. I mean, once you get there, you immediately recognize the symbol. It's the symbol of the Dreadless Fake Court, 100%.
Yep.
Seems to be a much more humble shrine than the one you visited or when you discovered your mentor, obviously. But you can see many different Sylvan writings, or more like glyphs. They don't hold a word in specific. They are more like, or they're like words as in Chinese temples, where it just stands for luck, good fortune, prosperity, and stuff like that. So there aren't any bigger text communicated other than the typical things that are worshipped within the Dreadless Fey nature, which is obviously prosperity, growth, birth, and rebirth. So you see many sylvan signs that communicate that. And yeah, this shrine is very similar, as in like the way it's built, kind of like rather tall in nature. So it's like 2 meters tall, while the width itself is only maybe like half a meter. So it's rather tall. You can see on the top there's like something that might have been hanged from there, probably some herbs that were, or incense that were burned during a prayer process, and then whatever offerings one had in this small bowl that is down below, that usually got collected in with the smoke, though the bowl now lies a bit shattered and stuff like that. But yeah, and that is kind of all you find, a very peaceful and serene spot, and kind of is in tune with how you're feeling right now. And just seeing the shrine kind of brings back memories when your mentor first brought you to his shrine.
I will. Okay, sorry, I'm looking into my my background at the same time. Sorry, I'm trying to find a name.
Of your mentor?
Yes, I'm looking for the name of my mentor.
His name is Azathia.
Isophan, yes, Isophan. Yep. So I will definitely rummage through my bag and find a little bit of moon water that I have, put it in the bowl, and meditate and think of Isophan and the last time that I found one of those shrines. That's when I met him and all that, and I would just kind of reminisce of that and thank the court and thank Servalon and all that, and just take a little bit of time to recollect myself and take advantage of the fact that we stumbled upon a second shrine, and I now know the location of 2 shrines. And I would definitely make a mental note of where it is and make sure that I remember so that I can one day have a map of the different shrines where they are.
Good idea.
Yeah. Anything else you guys would do as you kind of settle in this small space? It seems peaceful and safe for now.
I will bring Glamour back. He poofed during the fight. I assume I have what I need. Incense, blah blah blah. I have so much. I do have enough. Okay. So yeah, I'll take the time to ritually cast that and bring him back after 10 minutes.
Yeah. All right. 10 minutes kind of go by, and then
Welcome back. Good job.
I mean, I tried my best. Okay.
Yes,
Much I could
there's
do.
no fault that lays with you.
So much I could do. I mean, do you see that thing? Christ. My paws couldn't touch it. I'm used to scratching bark. Alright? I love that. It's just a thing I do. But that thing, different vibe. That's what I'm telling you. Though the color scheme, green mixed with
Not bad,
natural wood. At least some inspiration there. Very nice. Have to probably implement that for Iso's next design. Yes.
Well, I wish you luck with that. I'm sure it'll go great.
Green is not my color, though. Glamour, you know it.
Wow. You know, a little mix up here and there, a nice accent to complement your purples. Trust in the process is what I say.
Okay.
I mean, I gotta be real. You're pretty much all process here. We haven't actually seen much, you know, work of yours. You talk a lot.
Well,
But
don't rush a master, right? Art needs time.
I have no reason to believe you're a master yet. That's all I'm saying.
Scoundrel is what I say. Anyways, the haters will be haters. The believers will cherish the work once they receive it. This is
That is faith.
exactly. Believe in me as you would the gods.
Well,
That's a big
What?
ass glamour.
I mean, at least
Okay.
in terms
Okay.
of sewing, all right.
I have no doubts that you are a very capable person.
Plus, now I have a friend with 8 limbs that is helping me out. Very great. Doesn't really like to talk much, but you know, it's been helping me out here and there while I'm traversing through the realms, as you would say. I still have no idea where I go to. I'm gonna be honest, it's a strange place.
Well, we're under a big tree right now.
It's also often where I find myself once I disappear.
Interesting.
Yeah, yeah. Lots of trees. Lots of trees. But very weird shapes. I mean, I saw one, I swear, it looked like it had a butt.
Okay.
What can I say?
Well, you've probably said enough. Here, I'm gonna get a vial out. Gonna hand it out to him.
Oh,
Why don't you just get busy? Fill this with like tree bark stuff you could scratch off or something. Fill it to the brim.
whoa, all right. So this, okay, this looks like stone though.
Well, you can explore.
All right. I guess exploring it is. Another treescape. That's not new to me. Canuck takes the vial into his mouth. I've editing. Oh my god, my microphone. It's getting in and out. Takes the vial and starts drawing the wing off.
Yeah, you can talk to me mentally.
sure,
Thanks.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh yes, I forgot about that. And then he walks off.
Oh boy. Okay, well,
Good.
I think we need to make a plan here. Before we go to sleep, we need to sort of figure out what we're gonna do. I mean, we have our goal, right? But we're still quite a ways off from the actual ravine itself.
We are miles away. I am
Yeah.
realizing here.
Which I mean is fine. There's, lots to do, but if we're gonna, I don't know. I think
I
we
was
just
gonna-
need.
Well, do you
straight
know
plan.
that area at all, Azrael? These runes, tomes, graves, anything about that area?
Well, I know it exists. I
We do too.
Yeah.
We're
Okay.
here.
Okay. Yep. Same page.
I don't think I've ever been this far into the Great Ceylon Woods. I'm pretty sure when I went into the woods, I was much closer to towns than this. Of course, Korzar is not very far from here. Well, not very far.
It's more militaristic.
Yeah, it's
believe.
militaristic and stuff. I know of the legends around the place because the chasm is right next to it and all that. So that's very. Unfortunately, this is despite my knowledge of nature and all that. this is still a very mysterious place and not a lot of actual recent research has been done. And I was researching on that when I was studying at the archives. It was one of my areas of research. I just
Mhm.
left into the woods before I could find anything more. I
You
went on an adventure a little bit to become a druid and did not go
Mhm,
back to my
mhm.
studies because then I met you guys.
do you have
That's
any
right.
at least understanding or insight as to the significance of death around here? Like, who are all these graves for? You know, like who comes out here to be buried?
We knew there
Well,
was a war.
there was a war, and the fact that there is a shrine to the Fey Court here tells me that most likely some druids were here a long time ago, or people related to the Fey Court or that believed in the Fey Court. So that that is one thing that could be. Then there's most likely explorers and expeditions that were sent here that met their
That
demise
were
here as
probably killed.
well.
Yes.
Yeah. Um would I know more than that about that area?
You can definitely make a history check. I mean, you did
History? Okay.
specifically research.
Yeah, that was pretty much my area of research, right?
Wow, 25. Um, yeah, so a brief recap on just the general timeline that, most people just are aware of, which is after the Angelic War, there was the Age of Darkness, because the war kind of put everything back into the Stone Ages. A great catastrophe, and because the surface was riddled with demons, people were forced underground, because that's where the only place where demons didn't come or weren't able to access at that point. Or larger portions of civilization were destroyed, cities weren't able to be built because they were overrun by demons, and all of that sort of stuff. And that's why it was called the Age of Darkness, because humanity, or more accurately, Chaldean kind, was forced into darkness. And as you have come to learn, that many of the elves or people that lived in Azathia actually retreated back into the ravine. And so, after many kind of hundreds of years went by, people started to emerge back out. And the first assassin people obviously came from the ravine, but not only that, with the 25 you would know, that a large portion of high elves and wood elves actually came from the caves of origin, and that's the reason why it's called that way. That is where many of the first people that came out after the Age of Darkness and brought with it the Age of Chaos, which is basically people stumbled upon the surface and just tried their best to survive out here, even though the place was still riddled with demons. People started to just kind of travel around. They were nomads. And obviously, with the high storm now being there, travel was a dangerous thing to do. And only a couple of people actually managed to survive during this time outside, but many of the people, still stayed back. But as people grew more confident and new things got rediscovered from the old times, civilization started to kind of regrow itself. And it's during these times that obviously much of what was found in the world from before are destroyed things. You are kind of re-emerging in a world that was once crumbled, and that is why specifically the Servalon Great Woods is a place that hasn't been fully discovered yet. So many of the things that have been discovered are ruins from times where everything has fallen before, and that's why it's very often very common that you find tombs, shrines of long lost, deceased, either heroes or warriors of the angelic war, or just shrines that belong to courts that no longer exist anymore. Yeah, so that is why, you know, many of these things, like the wall of Nazani, belonged to one tribe that tried to survive during the Age of Chaos. The Loic Bastion, the fallen Loic Bastion, was built by one of the first settlers that came out of the Caves of Origin. It also succumbed to a demonic attack and it was destroyed. These are just the remnants of the first pieces of civilization after the dawning of the Age of Darkness. So you usually don't find much good stuff in a place where very much died.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so pretty much everything here died around here. Like anyone who would come out here would die around here.
Yeah. I'm just the presence of the actual stones is what captures my attention. Like
The
someone would have had to come out.
The
to do
avatar was
this.
here. There was an avatar here. Now, why was he here? And since when has he been here is a great question.
Well, this tree was a child of Servalon, right? Or
Yes, he was one of the sons of Servalon, yeah.
so Sylvis must have had a connection or a friendship, allyship.
Well, Sylvis would not leave an avatar somewhere he didn't believe nature couldn't survive. Now, how long has it been? That's the question. And what was the purpose of the avatar before it got corrupted? It was bringing souls back where it belonged.
Right. When we felled the avatar, it
Yeah.
didn't mention that
Yeah.
it would be going
Yeah,
back where it wanted to, or
yeah, where it was needed. And yeah, it's basically it does say like when I started getting in touch with that eye that it gave me, um I I felt Sylvis's words made the souls return to the roots that gave them life.
Hmm.
So like its purpose was to help souls back, but since when? Was it after we came out of the ravine and people started dying in the woods? Was it before that? Is it a remnant of the angelic wars? Like that's
that's history.
yeah. That's what I was studying. That's what I was researching. That's what I wanted to discover. The history of the woods, of Servalon, of Sylvis, the magic that came with it, the magic of our people, my people. That's the whole thing I was looking into before I met you guys.
Right.
It's a
Well,
whole lot of questions and not a whole lot of answers.
Sylvis is one of the dominators.
Yes.
Supposedly acting as a seal like the others, but we don't know for sure. I could try to contact them. Probably not tonight. I
At
need
some
to prepare
point.
like 3 spells for that, but yeah, at some point on our travels,
Yes.
I can do that. So try to get some answers.
Yeah, I think if we can reach out to him, perhaps that could give us a couple answers. Let him know that his avatar is coming back.
Right.
Coming back to him. You know? I think he would like to know that.
Yeah, unfortunately, I couldn't get a name, but
I'm sure if you communicate the avatar of at
the big tree.
the
Yeah, do you know the name of this?
it's in my notes that I
Oh
lost.
no, I don't usually write that down. And then
It's in my
Servalas'
notes
son.
that I don't
Tree was
know
a son
where
of
they
Servalon,
are.
but okay. That's fine.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Big old tree.
Yeah, it's one of the sons of Servalon. Well, you can tell Sylvis that it's one of the sons of Servalon that
Yep,
lived
everything good.
near the ravine. It's good enough, right?
It's
He knows
pretty
the ravine.
localized, yeah.
Yep.
I mean, the sons of Servalon are the children of Servalon
I could just say one of the sons.
well, no, because all of this the children of Servalon are in very specific places. There's one in
Oh,
Corvalli.
okay.
There's one in Sunanir. There's one, they're very localized. So even if you don't know their name, the gods know the land. So if we
Yeah.
tell him that it's the son of one of the children that was near the ravine, he would probably know which one it was. At least that will give him a couple options
Yeah.
on who it was.
Know that we're
It's
trying
like
to do
a
good.
it's like a grandmother going through her grandson's names to find the correct one.
Sure. I guess, yeah, elves probably have that problem hardest of all.
Real life grandmother has that problem where she goes through all of her sons before she gets to the correct one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So plan. I guess, do we have any interest in seeing any other place? Do we know who Eisen Vax is? I'm guessing that's an elf.
That sounds very elfic.
You can all make a history check.
No, some elves, not all elves. Okay.
History. I don't know who it is.
Nope.
I have no idea who it is. It's an elf.
Well, you think it's now, and you suggest that, and as you're thinking, Fiara, you're like, now that you've come across quite a bit of draconic runes, this isn't an elven name. The ends, if a name ends with an X, it usually is a draconic name. Similar to the archdragon Mirvorax, is also ends with an X. The exception are the Dominators. They have very different names, but because their names are less draconic and more celestial. But so you get the impression that Tomb of Azan Vax is probably a dragon. Plus, most draconic names are split into two parts, and the last one always ends with an X. So Azan Vax, Mir Vurax. It's usually draconic.
That way too small. Okay, so I will clarify that. And I'll go into like history teacher who studies multiple languages.
Yeah.
You know, AX at this point of the name usually refers to this.
Yeah.
You know, this
The
lineage.
linguistic lady is going
yeah.
on there.
Yeah. What color should I put this? Let's go teal. Okay, so that's the tomb of, I don't know, Dragonborn? Dragon? Kind of curious. I should make that bigger. I can't read it. There we go. Okay, Cave of Origins is elves when they came out. Re-emerged. I definitely know how to spell that. That's probably close enough.
Elves remerge.
Re-emerged.
And I love elves.
Oh.
Elves. Elves. Elvis reemerge.
Holy shit!
Failed city.
Elvis was an elf. Confirmed.
I just want to ask Jack clarification.
Yes.
The
Colors.
above the words Great Woods, there's a thing that says something Stone Grove.
Yeah.
Is that a typo?
Is
that supposed
it is a typo. I think I have another
Oh,
typo
really?
here that I saw.
And Sinnet Stone Grove.
Yeah, because I was like, is this a name?
No, that's definitely a typo. I think there was
Okay.
another typo somewhere else. Or was it somewhere? No, it wasn't here. It was somewhere else. Yeah, no. That is...
That's okay. No big deal. I just wanted to clarify.
Yeah. All good.
We love typos.
Yeah, it's part of the game.
Yes.
I mean,
And
I gotta
then
be real. I
Yorick.
would want to go to all these things. Probably.
Right.
Yes.
Most is the older cities. I don't know what they would have left.
I
They couldn't
am.
protect themselves.
I'm genuinely not interested in Korzar unless we have to go there. I would
Yeah.
much rather spend time around
Only if we need
here.
help, I think.
Yeah. I would genuinely be more interested in looking around here.
Cities have become a little bit sketchy. So we don't entirely know, like what it's going to be like just walking in as a few random people. So.
Yeah, we don't know who's friend, ally, or if
We are
Oh.
so close to the Caves of Origin that it's making my fingers tingles. Like, we're far, but we're so close.
Yeah, compared to the rest of the world, yes.
Yeah.
Right. I would
That-
say that's a harder one to teleport to since cave is pretty general.
Yes, I completely get that.
But it's possible.
Jack,
Now
how
that we know more
tall
about
is
it.
the tree that we're at?
Well, the
Big.
tree trunk itself goes about several hundred feet, and it just
And
cuts off.
Compared to the rest of the tree line, how much higher is it than the rest of the trees?
Oh, way, 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 way higher.
Yeah. So I'm gonna fly up to the top of the tree, and I want to get like a view of the land from way up high, because I want to see if there's any sort of can from where we are, is there any way that I can see any of these big mountain peaks to the northeast and west of us?
Hmm.
Can I turn the other way and maybe see the tip of Korzar, just so we can get like a sense of our surroundings?
Oh yeah, definitely make a perception check. A 23. Well, Koza, unfortunately, definitely not. And just gauge, it's over 100 miles away, so just the curvature of the planet makes it so you wouldn't be able to see it unless they have towers that let you go hundreds of miles into the air. However, the kind of larger hill to the northeast, you do kind of see like a bump in the landscape that goes there. And you can see the surrounding forest itself, the edge of which begins, on the very peaks of the horizon as you look around. However, the rest of the landscape that you are in is, completely barren, was only littered with these rocks or tombstones, and then a occasional dead trees which only exist within the vicinity of this larger tree. So you get a pretty good grasp around. The ravine, unfortunately, also is too far away. You won't be able to see that since, it's a dip in the earth and doesn't really protrude. Even though the
I
other...
have to go way higher.
Yeah, way, way higher. And then even the atmosphere would probably just, dissipate anything that you would be able to see. But yeah, you do see the kind of tip of the hill in the northeast. But what you do see is, as you kind of have a better bird's eye view of everything around you, first of all, the tree itself is in fact hollow. That's what you notice as you kind of fly above it. Doesn't seem to be one thing. And as you look above, like I said, it looks like a tree was, kind of just ripped off. So there are a lot of these pieces of broken off bark that is there. And it also looks like as if it was twisted in a way, or the tree grew in a way that it kind of twisted upwards. But yeah, the inside seemed to be hollow. There's like a very thick piece of the bark itself that is, also several hundred of feet thick. But the inside there is like a cove that goes in that you could technically just fly down. And there are also some structures within this barren landscape that seem to have potentially also been buildings. This place is also littered with ruins, as you notice. It was hard to tell when you first were here and just on ground level. Every stone just looked like another stone. But you come to realize some of these stones aren't stones, but, broken parts of what probably once was a building of some sort. And they're more clearly visible to you since there's not much foliage or dense nature that obscures it. You just have to discern it between what is actually just a boulder and what is actually a potential ruin. But there are some that are from this height definitely identifiable as, yeah, that's a structure, a man-made structure.
And from this height, seeing the structures, can I notice any, like, are there any, not paths, but does it look like there might be sort of, worn down areas of the terrain that maybe people have gone through before?
From this distance here, and in this vicinity of the tree itself, doesn't seem so. Would also be a strange place to see a road. It would have to be traveled good enough, but you expect that the tree avatar's presence was probably the reason why that isn't the case. Maybe at the edges, you could think that people, traveled inside of here to try and discover things. But where you are right now, there don't seem to be any obvious larger tracks that could be identified.
I'll fly back down. Yeah, there's gonna be hundreds of places for us to kind of explore.
I was thinking one person who might have advice could be Vashina. She's kind of a historian and she knows, Draconic as well.
True.
Could ask her for advice. Otherwise, whatever piques our interest.
Well, from way up there, I was just barely able to see the change in terrain to the northeast. So it's pretty obvious what direction to go in to find northeast, but I feel like if we really needed to, flying up high as we're traveling around the area is going to be a good way to maybe set a bearing as opposed to just completely wishing that we go in the right direction.
I guess that's a question. How fast can we travel in a day?
Through unknown woods of death?
Right.
Not very. The point
I
is,
guess
whichever way we go, wherever we choose to go, there's gonna be something for us to do.
Oh, of course. I mean, that's the point. we're trying to uncover history and
We're in a
find
part
lost
that's
artifacts.
we're in a part that not a lot of people have explored and
Hmm.
had the chance. We might be on the verge of discovering stuff that nobody has seen in a long time.
Yeah, exactly.
I was thinking about that as well. When we first went into Zephagus's archive, there was a creature from the ravine. So he also might be able to give us some guidance, I guess.
I don't
I
remember
don't know
that
if
at all.
I actually
Was
shared
he-
that with you all, but he had a creature miniaturized and sort of in a stasis. Very curious, but it was interesting.
Oh my god. Okay, I thought you meant there was just one like alive in the library. I was like,
No,
excuse me.
no. I'm guessing he used some
Oh,
sort of magic. I still don't know to capture it.
right.
It was on display.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I could reach out to
what-
Vashina and him and just see what they think.
we're here at the most ancient part of this land. Might as well go and talk to the oldest, person that we can. And
I am pretty sure that if we tell Vashina that we're next to the tomb, well, close to the tomb of Zenvax or the caves of Origin, she might slap us all the way across the land and be like, "Why did you not take me with you?"
she doesn't know we have a map, so we could just say we found ourselves going towards the ravine. We don't know anything about the rest of the area. And then we can let her be the one to give us information.
I don't think either way she would be angry to give us information. I just think
No,
if she knows we're there and she's not with us, she might be slightly jealous. She is a scholar after all.
she is. Hmm.
Scholars and nobles are very jealous beings. Trust me.
I'll start making messages. So 25 words is rough. Tell me everything about the ravine you know in 25 words or less.
We at Ravine, please help. That's 5 words. Need history. Thanks.
I will start a short rest though, because I am hurt and I do need to change a spell, which requires a short rest.
Yeah.
Plus some, yeah, I got 5 left, so I can use like 3. I assume there can't be too much dangerous stuff here, right?
No,
Yeah.
we're totally fine.
We did rest under a demon or devil tree. Sorry. Lovely.
We basically
Salt
just need
source.
to pick a direction and just go, because you're not going to be able to teleport us close
It
to
just
any
depends
of these.
where. The better descriptor I can have, the easier it would be. But if it's, ambiguous, then it's not a good idea.
No. It's just a matter of picking what our actual destination is going to be and going that way. Seeing what we run into. Given that we've just been named heroes, the hero's grave could be an interesting place to go.
I mean, it could be a hero of anything. A hero of, the angels, the draconics, the fae.
It's all
Was
interesting.
it for the war? Yeah. Well, how about this? Is there a place on this side of the ravine we want to travel toward? Let's try to pick a place.
Let's go to the left of the ravine. I feel like there's more there, like the tomb, the bastion, the grave, the cave. They're all on the left. And
Okay.
Jade's home is also there once we get to it.
Yeah, I don't know if we want to fly over the ravine.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
not.
So places I could teleport could be the tome. I think that is specific enough with their name.
It is a very named place, and I mean the bastion as well, but the bastion is very, very close to the ravine. Do we want
Yeah,
to
I'm
be
let's
worried how
not
that
do
dangerous
that.
it is.
Yeah. Do we want to be that close to the ravine?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like,
No.
the hero's grave is too vague. The Cave of Origin is also too vague.
Yes. We could start at the tome and then figure out how to go 100 miles to the grave. And then just go from there.
Are we gonna, like, once we spend the night, are you gonna be able to have access to your tower routinely? Because that might be our only real safety.
Well,
It
I
just
have the
depends.
terrain. I can have the terrain ready, at least as a backup, at all times.
Yeah, it mostly depends how much trouble we run into.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think I have 1 or 2 sendings, and then I have to save the rest of my resources. Because I'm low. I think machine is probably the best way to go.
Yeah, I think so.
1 in 10 chance he wants to join us.
Just imagine her popping up next to us.
Ah,
That would be the worst. The best and the worst.
I'd be surprised. Okay, I will cast a sending on Vishina then. As oh god, I don't like that wording. Okay, sure. Greetings, Vishina. Many things of interest going on. The Caravan Ravine requires my current attention. Any advice on places to explore nearby before descending? Pierre.
You get a rather quick response. And she responds, Caravan Ravine? Descending. I am proud of you. Well, short answer, everything. Long answer. Oh, difficult choice. Probably the tomb of Azenvax. That's
Oh, what I got?
Yep.
also Ancient Stone Grove has been on my list. And that's it.
Yeah, more or less what we thought. It's like
Yeah, that's
telling
the
somebody who loved to explore history 20 places and you have to pick one.
Yeah.
Of course. Of course.
But yeah, the tome and then the grove she was interested in as well.
The grove is in the direction that I was able to pinpoint
D.
with the mountain.
The only problem is it's 200 miles away.
It's very far.
I have no idea what I would teleport to.
Well, I
We
mean,
could start at the tome and
the
then
dome is also 266 miles away. Just saying. Basically, we're just going to the unknown.
We walk, what, 8 miles a day or something?
No, you walk. The average speed is 25 miles a
Yeah.
day. Which,
that's a
Yeah.
lot.
yeah,
On
but
flat, safe terrain.
and flat safe terrain exactly.
Oh, let me reread teleport here. What's the worst that can happen again?
The worst that can happen is that we get shoved somewhere we did not want to. The danger here is that the ravine is a little not exactly halfway through, but on the way to. So the danger is that teleport just completely misfires and
Okay.
we drop down the ravine.
It's like a 50-50 if I haven't been there and I've only looked at it on a map or heard a description. It's like a 50-50.
And we're very lucky.
Yeah.
I mean, I think teleporting, it would take us days to get there, right?
Yes.
So if I have to try for a couple days to...
Yeah, I mean, it's better than nothing. It's better than having to walk all the way there. Especially since we're gonna have to, like, probably go to Korzar and then
Yeah, we'd have to go around.
Yeah, and then, like, go around the chasm like this. So that would be stupid. Korzar is, like, probably, like, 3 days away. 3-4 days away.
Okay. Well, at least we have a basic plan, right? Tomorrow morning, we'll try to get to the dome.
Tonight and tomorrow, and then we'll see.
Then we just roll the dice. And if we fail, that gives me a day to try to contact Sylvis too.
Yes, also.
Okay. Well, whenever Glamour gets back, would he be able to fill a vial with this stuff from the area?
Yeah, given enough time, he definitely.
Claws?
Yeah, he definitely can.
Okay. I will add a vial of death
Dead
tree
tree.
ward stuff.
Petrified wood.
I would probably also look around and try to find some pieces of bark that are not too big that I could take and keep with me from there.
Yup, that's easy enough to do. You have, I think, all the necessary tools
Yeah,
to do that.
I'm a freaking druid.
Yeah.
A tree is nothing on me.
Yeah. But I believe also Theo has archaeological tools, so that's
Yeah, we have a shovel, a pickaxe,
yeah. There you
got
go.
some other stuff. We got stuff.
10 minutes with a pickaxe, you can get a decent piece of petrified wood off of there into your backpack.
Okay, we should probably keep watch. Do the elves have that covered?
Yes.
And
Y'all
Glamour,
sleep.
I'm sure
Y'all
can take a shift.
Y'all take your beauty sleep. Us elves are going to take care of this.
Well, I'll join you. I've been used to staying awake for a long time now.
Yeah.
Actually, do I sleep? I can't remember the last time I slept.
Oh,
Well, everything feels like a dream nowadays, so I'm not sure if I'm dreaming, if I'm living. If I had too much of that weird fungus I found in the forest. It's all the same to me.
okay.
Maybe hold on. Maybe his eight-legged friend isn't real and it's just the fungus talking.
No, that's definitely because it's the eight-legged friend that suggested the fungus.
Of course it is.
Because it was growing on their back.
Oh, great. That's she. Oh, God.
I mean, it tasted great. Felt a little bit fuzzy, you know, it makes you feel warm, comfortable.
Some creatures have defense mechanisms. I never heard that one, but
No, I mean, served it on a plate.
What?
I'm gonna go lay down.
Yeah. You take your rests. Don't worry. The hero of this land is here to watch over you.
I look at Azrael and say, "Yep."
This is also who I was referring to, obviously. Anyways. And he pats onto a place where he sits, plops down, and we'll keep watch.
Oh yeah.
Well, pretty okay. Okay. Well, if there's anything specific for your evening routine, can say it now. Otherwise, we'll go through the night watch.
I will try something different tonight before sitting down for my watch. Instead of praying to Servalon, I will pray to Sylvis and try to connect with Sylvis
Oh.
through my meditation and my prayer. Yeah.
Very well.
Yes.
Yes, you do that. You can make a straight wisdom check as per usual.
With my shiny, beautiful new +5.
Yeah. So 21. Yeah, you know, sit at the edge of the cove that you've all kind of set up comfortably for yourself to rest here as the evening comes. Funny enough, you look towards the sky, usually the astral vestige gives you a, point to focus, an image of serenity, but it's not there this time. It doesn't appear at all, which is a bit odd because it's the first time in your life that you don't see it. Because usually the astral vestige is always there. Even when there are clouds obscuring the sky, you would see it. But this time around, there's nothing. Instead, you kind of notice once again the very kind of desaturated view of the world that you suddenly have since the last time you rested in Corvalli after the last high storm. Everything, there was a shift in the atmosphere, is the best you can describe it, and that shift hasn't subsided yet. And this is just another sign that you've noticed, which kind of worries you a bit. And as you are meditating and trying to connect to Silvers instead, the process, funnily enough, remains the same. It is an entity attuned to nature. It is one that guards over forests. And as you kind of feel yourself connecting towards something, it's a very floating feeling. It is as if you have just caught the grasp of something that is disappearing. Like the last touch of a burning rope, or the last bits of a candle that are currently giving life to a small flame, and the wax has already molten completely. It is truly a fragment. And you now also very clearly can feel the thing that your mentor has been warning you this entire time. The first time in a great effect, that whatever magic was connecting you to whatever thing that's giving you faith and power is diminishing at a rapid decay. And at this very moment, the source of power you connect to is no different from Servalon's. And you notice the one being that has been giving you power all this time was in fact Silvers, and never was in fact Servalon. And with that last breath of air that is given to you as you connect to it with a sudden realization, you also realize that you're now on your own. As whatever was there before, now for some reason, with everything else that is currently decaying at a rapid rate, is now gone. And you just stand at the edge of a metaphorical beach, and the ship you were looking towards, where your patron once was, has now set further beyond the horizon, the sails no longer visible to you. And you're left on foreign lands with a power that now belongs to you. And as you get this realization, you open your eyes and see the world once more as what it is. A great connection to nature has been lost. And as you have that, the two others, Fiera and Eirik, as you both go to sleep, you go to sleep rather comfortably, and the temperature's warm, you have your bedfalls all set up, and it seems like, you kind of just wash into the deep embrace of slumber, the very much needed slumber, as you feel your body still aching from the battle before. But as you kind of stir yourself open within your dream, you are a bit lucid, as it feels a bit kind of tingy as you wake up. You kind of blur open your vision. As you kind of open up your eyes, you can feel a rather strong wind hitting you, as if you're in front of an ocean. And as you kind of open your eyes, indeed, you are dreaming that you're standing in front of an ocean, at a beach, in fact. And as you look out towards this ocean, you can see the waves hitting the shoreline. Foam gathers in front of you slowly. And it's initially, you know, when you wake up in a dream, it just seems very natural, but the lucidity comes rather quickly, as you are very clearly aware in this moment as you're standing on this beach, seeing in front of you blurry at first, but now becoming clearer and clearer the longer this dream continues. Just this very mundane beach, one that maybe you have seen before, but above you, storm clouds covering the sky. A crack appears suddenly, a loud boom pierces the silence and breaks the sounds of the water crashing on the shore as a multitude of lightnings crash down from the storms ahead, but not in a way you expect. Instead, it's as if the lightning appears on the very edge of the horizon, and much like shattering glass, the horizon cracks into 1,000 pieces, revealing in the distance, now that it shatters, a different horizon. Strange, translucent symbols float like crosses on the sea. The sky is purple, but also completely grey in some spots. The storm clouds themselves dissipate as if blown by a wind stronger than the ones that carried the storm itself. And as you look at the sky, as it opens itself up from the clouds, you look upwards, and where you would usually expect the moon to be, there's instead only an asteroid field, as if the moon was shattered and only the broken pieces are now left to orbit Chaldeus. Fragmented in the sky, they litter parts of the nightscape above. You don't know if this is a vision, you don't know if this is real, but everything feels very real. As you can see, the ocean still crashing towards you, and there's just a very slight moment of dread as your connection to magic slowly disappears at a discerning rate that you are now capable of feeling actively. And as this happens, with this imminent feeling of how magic is almost like sucked out of your body, you kind of lose focus, as if it's draining your energy to stay conscious. And as it does so, you return to slumber. But the next time you open up your eyes, dawn has already arrived, and it's a new day. And similar to you, Isorel, a new day has come before you have even realized. You feel as if you have rested, and indeed you have rested. You all regain the benefits of a long rest, but you'll just awaken in this strange state, and it is quick to notice that you're not alone here. One person has been replaced. Instead of Jade, you can see Top Hat Guy sitting there. But now, as you look at him, the usual mask that he adorns and his top hat are completely scarred, as if portions of it were burned and melted down. And it's the first time that you can see a rift in between his mask, that it's like broken open, but some black smoke seems to be dissipating from it, and you can't see inside.
I guess none of us had a restful night, huh? Well, yeah, I guess what happened?
It's, I would say a lot. I'm echoing out. Don't worry about me. I'm just taking care of things as usual. Jade is in a bit of disparity, and you're going to need her for the things you're going to do in the future.
Oh,
Hmm.
he came all this way for her.
She's necessary if things are to go smoothly. I think you've all seen it. A premonition. Something bad has already happened. I'm pretty sure you are in some way or shape aware, but the dome has been broken. And the effects of
That was
the
my assumption.
outside world are now starting to seep through. I don't want to rush you, but there's a global time limit with which you will still be able to cast magic. Don't worry, I'm talking about decades, but it is still something you'll feel the effects.
I had a sense of that last night. Yeah, I felt my connection, very much so.
And can you tell me what happened with the Dominators?
They're the ones who prevented the source of entropy to seep through, the reason why you were able to use magic. Well, the thing they were trying to keep out, they no longer are able to. And with it, it's the death of them. Yes, they too can die.
They perished.
Well, in the state they were living in, they weren't really much alive.
Well, I guess it's up to us to reignite, to get the tree, touch the godskin.
Maybe. I myself, I'm not entirely sure how all of this mess is going to fix. All I know is that Jade is a crucial part of this. The science might have perished now, but I believe there might be a way to prevent this from happening altogether.
And of course, it's up to us to figure it out.
Well, I wouldn't put all my money on you. You're not the only ones. Fiera's been
Almost nice.
dabbling in some... how should we call it? Strange magic.
Sounds like you have time to figure it out. My biggest worry is I got a glimpse of what's outside. The entropy, the creatures.
I
don't think we have decades.
I myself don't have much understanding of your plane. I have not a strong tether towards the physical world. Anything you find here, anything that has even made that thing appear is going to give you a leverage. That is something you can't forget. I am not able to help you in any way in the physical sense. I can only save yourselves from yourselves. But the knowledge
Right.
you've gained so far, the things you've uncovered so far, you need to learn more. I haven't told you all this, but I my purpose is to myself rather unknown. I've been created, I believe, and I've been following this path for not too long. I think it started maybe in your timeline. I think it would be the equivalent of a decade.
It's complicated.
It is a bit.
Well, I'm glad you rose to the, I guess, challenge, to the opportunity.
See how long I will last, right? I've just started to notice that my memory has started to slowly start to fade. I've now started to forget names. I've started in some parts what my duty is supposed to be. I remember our first encounter. It was also in these woods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe if we fix things, we could fix you. And you can choose whatever path you want.
For that, I first have to live.
Don't we all?
Well, you're beings. You're things made out of flesh and bone. I am but an aspect in the world, in a semi-plane that sometimes exists and sometimes doesn't. I don't know if there is a path for me. I thought it was to guide, to protect, to build. But with this ever slowly encroaching entropy that has been sipping away my memories, sometimes the darkness feels good.
Oh, well, that's philosophical. Anything that's remembered is alive. And I'm pretty good at remembering things.
He kind of just gets up, and you can see that it kind of shifts a bit, almost as if he has like a wounded leg. And there's another tuft of smoke that just kind of plumes out of the hole in his mask. And he's like, well, I think I've spent enough time here. You got a life. Do with it what you will. Just don't regret it. And then he just kind of steps to the side, and then he hobbles a bit, kind of waves his hand, and then the door appears, and you can see the door is completely scorched on one side. He just kind of waves his hand, the door opens, and as he opens, you can see through the usual array of morgues, array of, the sides of doors of morgues, which are usually locked behind, and you can see some of them are like half molten. As he then steps inside of there, and then closes the door and disappears.
Well, we're down one.
Yeah, the question is, do we want to change our field trip plan? I don't know. I know we're not the only ones looking for it. The entire Lichnius kingdom at one time was looking for a way to, help the world, fix things, the light of Ferris. Israel, we found out that we needed to, essentially give life to this tree and connect it with our world again. Right now, we're kind of just on our own. Our connection to the creators is shattered with the moon. Magic can find light. We can find a way to re-empower the tree. We're pretty good at uncovering history, but that's something of... If the entire Lichnius cannot find the light of Ferris, what chance do we have?
0. It frustrates me because from day to day we don't necessarily always know who's going to be on our side. So anytime we go with information or we find something new or whatever, like, we don't know who we can tell it to, or all these massive history-defining moments that need to be uncovered and solved. And
Yeah, I mean, learning more about what happened. I don't know. The entropy. Whatever's outside the dome that no longer lives. Finding out that a bunch of scions who were immense just died. So now we can't contact Silvus.
I mean, it's all too big to really discuss right here, right now. We have to think way smaller. We're not going down without Jade.
Nope. Absolutely not.
No, I would agree. So we need to prepare ourselves, right? We need knowledge, equipment, allies, a path that we can do. Looking into the... what's the Oh god, what's the tree called that is like connects our world with? Oh no, is it the divine plane or?
Which one?
I guess what were you told, Azrael, that we should, what's our path to helping the weave? As she points to a bug.
There. This is our path.
There's just a path now open in the trees.
Yeah, it's like, whoop.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a staircase.
Oh, let's go there.
I think you may have to repeat what you said, man.
Sure. Yes, Azrael.
Sorry, yes, I got distracted by life.
That
Quite literally.
that does happen a lot. I guess where are we at your quest to help the weave to find the route that like connects our world?
Well, seeing as I just last night felt like my connection to the weave disconnected,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
well, not necessarily the weave. So basically what happened is I thought I was tapping into Servalon all this time, but turns out it was Sylvis, by the way. That's been helping me. Hi. Yeah.
Interesting.
Great. Cool. Yep. Mhm.
Yeah. And I just felt like he slipped out of my hands and I lost connection to him last night.
Great.
Yeah. So I feel like instead of going forward, I've been going backwards. And it's actually getting worse.
Oh boy.
I need to restore Alithura. I need to go back to hell somehow and get on the next train up to the nature moon so that I can go talk to someone
Okay.
there. Yeah. My next quest is in space. Quite frankly.
Oh, hang on. Trying to find all these root names. The Tree of Purgatory. I think that's what we ate from to get to hell. And then there's my note is Gateway to Hell, Root of Nephasius. A branch that once belonged to the Tree of Power. Oh boy. Oh boy. My root tree notes are not good. Let me tell you. They exist. They're not good. Okay. Right. I mean, we kind of knew that he's probably in one of those moons, or at least we should get to one of those moons. God, do I have the moon list somewhere? Oh, yeah, probably. Okay. Other planes. Perfect. Here's my notes. Hell moons. Do you know which one was it called? Is it
The
is it
green one.
Vivalia?
Yes.
Dark lime green, or is it
Yes.
No, the wind was okay. Vivalia, dark lime green, and that's a hell moon. Jesus, how do we get there? Vivalia, is that in my Pantheon list here? No. Oh, okay, that's a big basket to open up. Devils. I mean, we could go back. Ugh. we don't just go to hell right now. I don't know.
Oh boy.
So we could potentially just go back to that tree and eat another yummy thing, and I could try to summon our devil friend that betrayed us. But, you know, that's what devils do. I don't know. I guess what do you guys want to do? We have so many options now. And with magic fading, I don't know. Tree is burning. Oh, that's from the intro, though. No, that was it. That's from Xil. He said the world tree is burning.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the entropy? Could be.
Well, yeah, something's obviously burning because look at Top Hat guy. He's connected some weird way to whatever this chaos is.
Oh. Hmm.
For what it's worth, I don't necessarily have my own opinion about what to do here. Every single thing that keeps unveiling itself to us is making me think more and more that it's just not worth going through with half of this stuff.
Well, the biggest thing we're missing is information.
I think we should just keep going, keep
Go where?
I think the more information we keep uncovering is going to help us. There is a huge part of why we're disconnected from the weave that is attributed to us forgetting our past.
Hmm.
It might be selfish, but I feel like the tomb of Azenvax is probably the place I'd like to go most. Just because we've met, what, 3 draconic entities so far? And they've all been very useful in terms of knowledge and history. Is it 2 or 3 that we've met? Anyways, they've been extremely valuable in
Yeah.
terms of knowledge
Right.
and history.
I mean, the Dominators were all kind to me, so
Yeah.
okay. Well, at least for today, we could head there. Wait, yeah, it's gonna take me time to figure this out.
Would you like me to scry over there? Try to scry over there to kind of
I
describe
don't
you
think it
the
would
area?
help.
No? Okay.
I think the math is still the same. Um, I think we just prepare for combat as always.
I'm fully prepared. I have mostly combat spells ready.
I think that's actually perfect. Okay.
Like no
Okay.
joke, no joke. I am ready to throw an elemental, my dragon, as well as
Bro.
FA entity, and yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready.
I'm casting buffs on myself.
Oh, and I'm ready to turn myself into a guardian of nature as well. So if I turn into a tree, don't be scared.
I did that one.
I did do that once, yes.
Okay. Yeah,
I'm ready. I'm ready to punch.
Okay, let's just do that. Okay. Tone then? We're all agreed?
Yes.
Clamor?
Hell, friggin' yeah. I mean, what can I
You're
say at this
saying this
point?
'cause yeah, that's what I was gonna say. You don't even have a choice. You're coming with us,
yeah.
buddy.
I mean, like, what am I gonna do, huh?
You could stay here if you want to.
You know, the great times I had at this space, scratching the different surfaces of this long dead tree. It's great and all, but a little bit of life wouldn't be so bad now and again.
Yeah, let's go learn about Dragon. Or Dragon Man.
That
Or
sounds
who knows?
Great. Yeah.
Okay. Eric, ready?
Yeah, I was just contemplating whether it'd be worth it to try to speak to Tolvar before we go.
You could ask him if he knew Azenvax.
That's up to you. You can try.
That's a very valid question.
See if the connection is even
Do you
still
know
there.
Tolvar's full name?
No. I got Tolvar.
He isn't like Tolvar, the sand
Hang on.
scorcher of death.
Destruction and fire.
The sand scorcher. Just scorches sand. The glass maker.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Second. Let me see here.
Of the
Tolvar,
glass desert.
Lord of Burning Ash.
Lord of Burning Ash. I
That
guess
sounds-
ash does burn, sure. Tolvar, Lord of Burning.
Well, no, ash is the thing that happens after burning.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's pretty hot.
Burning ash.
It's actually Ash from Pokemon.
Oh, because he Charizard. There
Yeah.
you go.
So
Yeah.
that's the actual meaning.
It's Blaine's fucking Charizard.
Yeah.
And if he's trying to burn Ash, there we go. We
Okay,
got the
okay.
secrets out. Game's over,
Now we don't
guys.
need to go there. All right.
Yeah.
Game's over, guys. Pack it up.
Back it up. God damn, was a good campaign.
Jeez. Well, up to you. Now, later. Teleport.
I guess we might as well just before, I guess, in case there is any information that he might
I
throw
like
at us.
close the like mini portal I already have open.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, just
Alright,
give me a
go
few
for
minutes.
it.
Give me a few minutes. I'm gonna sit down and I'll hold my dragon tooth handle of my firearm, my wand. And I'll just start focusing on it and the connection that I have with it, and just start saying his name, asking if he's out there.
Well, I make a straight intelligence check. It's a 14. Yeah, as you kind of, go into yourself and attune to the tooth a little bit stronger, where you had your first connection with him. You do feel a pulse, a response, as if, it is active inside of there. But it does seem to be a little bit faded. And it's like you get the impression as if, and you kind of get the understanding now that it requires a decent amount of energy from his part to always communicate with you, since his soul is so torn. He can only in very rare instances do that. But he's always there and he can always listen. It's just very difficult for him to communicate. And you, with this now weakened state of what the magical weave is, he's also affected, but he's still within you. So you get the feeling you can still ask questions or still talk to him, or whether or not he can respond is depending on whether he can muster up the energy to do so.
Well, I guess feeling that, I'll just say what our plan is we're going towards the tomb of Azenvax. No idea what that is or who that is. But you've protected us so far. I hope you can continue doing that.
You feel like a pulse within your heart as your chest warms up a bit. It's as usually comes from Tolva, as brutal he is, most of his flames feel very affirming, but in a very, direct, honest, and unfiltered way. So you get that once again, you get this pulse of energy, feel your adrenaline spike, as in, and you can start to hear crackling of embers as he's trying to push through some words of his, and he does actually manage to, and you hear him say, in war, protected the great forest he did. Don't let your flame die. You have my spark. And that's when it kind of goes in itself again and fades.
Yeah, he says it's safe.
Wonderful. Okay, let's get to it.
Did he seemed to know the place?
Yeah, he's a great place. Yeah, he says it's a lovely place this time of year.
I do not sense
vacation
the
there?
sarcasm in your voice at all, Eirik.
Listen, he's not the clearest communicator. It didn't sound like there was... He didn't tell us to run.
Okay, I'll take it.
It is like 1/100th of his soul, so. But
Something about Azinvax being the protector of the great forest.
oh,
I like that.
that's a good sign.
I like that.
But it sounds like he died in war. So.
As many did.
Probably the angelic or then. Servalon. So they went against the angels. Well, let's go find out what's there.
Yep.
I'm gonna zoom in on the map here so I can the best description I can on this. Yeah. Oh, it looks like it's in stone. Oh boy. Do I have Featherfall prepared? I should probably prepare Featherfall in case we end up on like a
I have
cliff
it.
or something. Okay. Then I don't need to do that.
And you got your boots as well, so.
Yeah, I've got my boots, so I'm fine, presumably.
You're fine.
It's you two that...
It'll be fine.
I'll cast my dragon. I guess. Or I'll turn into a bird.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, yeah, we're solid.
Yep.
Okay, I'll kind of pull up the map, do my best to like think of like direction, mileage. It looks like there's probably like a little, I don't know, yeah, a tomb surrounded by rock. And I'll think just home of Azinvax and whoosh us away.
Wow. That is a very vague way to do that.
I mean, fear is smart.
Yeah, that's true.
She'll think like, okay, it's 334 miles that way. You know, elevations like this, trees that grow like this. There's probably, you know.
Yeah, I'll fly. Okay, I will roll. As per usual, I will not show you, just so you get a surprise. Let us see here.
Did you use your new dice?
Potentially.
Oh.
I heard the box open.
Okay, let me see. What are the numbers? What are the stats?
Not good for describe briefly. Look at a map.
Alright, so as Fiara is concentrating, putting all of her neurons together to muster up the latitude and whatever the other word is, to try and ascertain the precise location of wherever this mysterious tomb is. So we're gonna take our break.
Yeah.
Oh God, what if it's underground? Jesus Christ. It probably is.
And we shall see if they
Good thing we're
land there
full.
safely. We'll see you guys in a quick bit. Bye. And we're back. And if there's any louder background noise, that is because the AC behind me is on. And I have to
Good.
put my microphone sensitivity at tops, otherwise it apparently doesn't pick me up. Anyways, as Fiera puts both of her hands together, creates basically a void in between the palm of her hands, and then opens it up to have all of you get sucked in. There is once again this fragment of a second of a moment where you have to pass through the void that she has created to instantly transport to where she thinks you want to go, which is a place you've never seen before.
Nope.
So the most scary part about this is not only stepping onto the other side, and what you're going to see is you won't even know if you arrive in the correct destination. And so as you kind of step through, you're confident in your ability that everything seems to be working fine. This brief lapse of traversing through the void went smoothly. There's no sudden ejections or compulsions that seem to affect you or your party members, and you jump through, and then instantaneously you are hit with the atmosphere of wherever you just landed out, and you appear in a new space. And around you can see big, large, looming trees with kind of a dark reddish hue that look like the Servalon trees that you've seen before, just
Okay, we're in the
deep
right forest.
within the forest. And you can, however, see that in front of you there's like a small clearing where the trees aren't as big, and you can see a large stone structure that looks to be like a bit of a
Wait, Matt,
cliff,
wait.
but you can, especially you, I can immediately see as you just gauge your running with your passive perception that there's a small staircase that leads up, and there seem to be many different statues within this large cliff face. But you can't make them out yet. You're a bit of a distance away, and this large stone structure seems to be, big enough where you cannot see the top yet, but also because the canopy of these large trees is also obscuring it. You have a stone formation in front of you, and
How
there's
far is it?
It's pretty close. You're around maybe like 400 feet from it, and you just kind of land here and see it right there. But in a brief view, now I swear, with your better sense of perception, thanks to the Eye of
Yes.
Silvers, you can see that there are like a couple of
Oh, damn.
definite signs of just activity from civilization, or just humans. Civilization is a bit too big. You can see like some ropes attached between some trees, and there are like small fans hanging from them, little trinkets that are just lying around, kind of attached to the some of the trees. Some of them are like very colorfully painted and stuff like that. There's some symbols have been also painted on the sides of trees that look very elven and almost sylvan in nature.
And it looks too fresh. Well, too fresh. I mean, it looks too recent to have been there like for centuries.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
has been like tops maybe a year, but probably not.
Well, High Storm probably would have.
Certainly.
We're probably gonna have some companions as we go there. Yeah.
That's curious.
It looks like it's inhabited.
Do we want... Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say it looks elvish, sylvan in nature. So I don't know if it's Shatterkai. I don't know if it's elves, elven kinds.
Okay,
Is it the
well, we
court?
just present ourselves as friendly. I think we'll be okay.
I do think we should not go there guns blazing. Yeah, we should approach. We should approach with a friendly demeanor, and I don't know how long they've been here. I don't know if they know about the outside world.
Yeah,
I have no idea what we're. I have no idea what we're about to walk into. Is it, just regular elves that just decided to come and live here, or is it an older civilization that never came out of the woods? It could go either way.
Do we want to throw some kind of scout up first? Can you fly as a bird to look, or maybe I can fly up myself and
I could
look at
send my
glamour.
owl. I could send my
Yeah.
owl. I could, if you give me a couple minutes to summon it, I could send my owl to check.
because I can
That's probably
also
better than talking cat.
Yeah.
I can also go invisible and fly.
Yeah,
Oh.
but if
Is that
there's-
aggressive? Is the question.
is
Well,
that
that's the
aggressive?
thing,
But
yeah.
if it's warded, or if there's any sorts of alarms or anything that go on, and then you just poof into like yourself in the middle of
Yep.
somewhere that we don't know, that might be seen slightly aggressive.
Yep.
Whereas a
Good
little
point.
tiny poofy owl that just hoots, you know.
Yep.
I think it's better. I think. I don't know about
No,
you.
you're right. You're right. You're right.
Okay,
It was just another
Should
option.
we look around the area first before we even go inside to see if there's like a village nearby?
That's a bit of what I wanted to do with the owl. Kind of do
Okay.
a
Yeah.
recon of the area in between
Yeah.
here and that place, and see around there if there's like some sort of village or
Perfect.
houses or
We
dwellings.
just need to stay
or...
put so we don't
Yeah.
cause a
Yeah.
stir
Right.
or surprise anybody.
Yeah, basically. And also, I don't know, did they see us poof? Like when we teleport, does it make magic, or do we
Right.
just poof there, you know? Like,
A big
have we
portal
perhaps-
opens. There's noise.
Yeah.
There's It's,
Yeah, you know, did they see us at all? Or will they be on guard? Is also a big question. So, all right. So give me a couple minutes. I'll poof my owl and I'll send it on a recon. And I'll sit down and I'll whip out my incense and just let's go and poof.
Yep.
Little owl is there.
And with his beady eyes, he starts filling himself up.
Big eyes.
Yeah, it's like half his body size. And
Yes.
he just, looks at you, already understands what he's here to do. You have a mental connection with it, and he
Yep.
just goes silently up
Yep.
into the air and looks around.
And I'll just stay sat and I'll say, I'm gonna be blind for a bit, so
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'll transfer my eyes into the owl.
Please do. You can make a perception check.
Not bad.
That's a 20.
Not bad.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, you fly silently up and just take a quick glance at the surrounding. And first of all, evidence, there are multiple signs around this large stone structure of, just this place being decorated. It looks, from the first vibe, there aren't like any totem poles with skulls and chopped off heads or anything. It seems like, a very kindly dressed place. It's the best way I can put it. It reminds you a lot actually on how your shrine was decorated of your mentor, where it's no too intricately created pieces of furniture or decorations like you would find in modern civilization. It's more just a humble decoration of things you can find and craft yourself out here. You can see some hand-woven nets and things like that. But as you kind of get closer to the stone structure, you can see it's. I don't know the actual geographical term of what a large boulder is called, other than it's a huge boulder. I was huge. I mean, like huge. It is a little bit smaller than the tree trunk of the tree you just came from. But it's, several hundreds of feet wide, and then it goes around 100 feet tall. So it looks a bit over most of the trees, but the full mature size Sovalon Greatwood trees goes even several hundred feet up. So the stone itself is a bit obscured, even with its size. However, as you kind of course up and fly and break through the canopy of the Great Sovalon trees, you see on top of this large boulder, for which I still don't have a name for, there is in fact a statue of a dragon on top of it. that you can see that is broken in many parts, but it seems to be like a dragon on its hind legs, its wings kind of curled in, and it's using one of its wings in front of its shoulder as if it's bracing against something. You can see there was something carved that came out of it, probably to showcase like a fighting scene of some sorts, but it's been broken off there. And you can see on the ground where probably the statue once was completed and attached to it very clearly, there seems to be a other being also carved in statue that has like many feathered wings, but you can't really ascertain just from a quick glance over top what kind of creature that is supposed to be. But just from this quick, 1-2 puzzle, it seems like it was depicting this dragon fighting whatever this entity is. And as you course around and have an aerial view of this boulder, you can see there are very many small alcoves and just windows inside of them. And it definitely... Yep.
1 second, please. My pen just ran out of ink.
Oh, wow.
No.
That is...
Yeah, give me 1 second, please.
No worries. We shall wait until Skid finds a replacement pen. There she goes.
While she's flying around, can I start filling a vial with like grass, dirt, twigs?
Yeah, sure. Oh, yeah, okay.
Perfect.
I see what's going on.
I gotta make a collection.
I have my own bag of holding. If you get into this pocket,
Anything
you
come
will
up.
get pen
Ooh.
and more pen
Oh, wow.
and more pen
Oh.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, it doesn't end.
and more pen. So, just needed to get a hold of my pens. That's all. Does this one work? This one works. Okay. Here, the new pen. Good.
Nice.
Okay. Yes, please. Sorry.
No worries.
Sorry about that.
It is important. Yeah, you see cut-out windows or carved-in windows within the boulder itself. The staircase seems to have been built outside, so you can traverse all the way to the top. On top as well, kind of in close vicinity to where the legs of the dragons is, you can also see the tail that kind of curves, but also breaks off at some point. There are multiple like shrines built around it, made out of wood, placed here with incense already burning there, and you can also see like draped cloth that acts as like a sunscreen above some of the holes there, or what you presume to be windows. And on some parts of where the staircase leads up, there's also like a big enough opening that you presume is probably a doorway to enter inside of this rock. So this looks like a living space. There's no village around, though you presume this itself could be like a minor settlement.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I'm describing this to the others, and I'm like, it looks like they live inside the boulder.
Mm-hmm.
And
Whoever lives here.
as you say that, you can see then, as you fly across the other side of the dragon of the wing, or the wing of the dragon, not the dragon of the wing. That doesn't make any sense. You can see that there are currently 3 figures in one of the shrines, kind of making some sort of morning ritual, and they seem to be wearing very loose robes, seem to be handmade, and the first thing you immediately catch a glimpse of are the very shiny green scales on the outside, as these dragonborn are nesting inside of here.
Yes! Yep. Basically, you see Isarel being like, Dragonborns. There are Dragonborns. We found some Dragonborns.
I'd respond, but she's in her owl.
She's sitting there looking like into the ether,
Yep.
like with the big cheese on her face, like super happy.
All right.
Yep. What do you guys do? As I suppose just specimening around.
I'd be concerned if it wasn't for the smile.
Right. They seem friendly. I would assume. Well, once she gets back, I think we go talk to them. Maybe they can give us a tour, know the history.
We need to make sure they know that we're here, but not in like a, danger way.
Yeah, we're not raiders or. But yeah, I knew there were Dragonborn tribes. I also knew that one of them carried, well, I guess what used to be some sort of hammer that released a seal for Sylvis, but yeah. Guess I'll start poking eyes around.
Poke, 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 poke.
Mage hand, poke with
back.
2 hands.
Come on back.
I'll be sitting there. If you want me to come back, tap on my shoulder.
What we've been
Tap,
doing.
tap.
Okay, I'll commend my owl to fly back, and I'll revert my eyes into myself.
Yeah. Yes, and just a sign of question.
Dragonborns! There are dragonborns!
Okay.
We heard, yeah.
We found dragonborns. This is major.
We need to still be careful, though.
They will most
Okay.
likely be scared to see humanoids coming towards them.
Yeah, that's fine, but we'll also be scared if there's like 1,000 of them. So,
Why would we be scared? They're probably going to be more scared of us than we are of them.
I don't know. I'd be a little scared of 1,000 brand new beings. Anyway. How are we
They
going to
are
present
believed-
ourselves?
Dragonborns are believed to be extinct.
Yeah, but this is what I'm
They're
saying.
not. They're not.
They aren't, no.
I'm not even. Frankly, the surprise factor here is kind of nothing to me anymore because the amount of stuff that we've seen it blows my mind. So great, they're great. They're alive. That's great. We need to make sure that they don't get scared to the point of attacking us.
No. You don't understand. This very moment is everything that I've been preparing for. Well, almost. Servalon aside and all that, the reason I learned Draconic was in hopes of uncovering more about the Dragonborn
Yeah, that's great.
and their legacy.
That's great.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully we can make this work to help you out on your journey. That's great. I don't want to get scared. I don't want them to get scared that someone has found them.
Right,
of
especially
course.
humans. I think Izrael should be safe enough to go on her own. We won't be far behind. She can introduce herself and then let them know that she has companions and that we're just here to learn and pay respects and move on.
I'm very prepared. I don't know, they might be, they're Dragonborns, but everything that is around them is very Elven and Sylvan. I'll be able to speak to them in Common, Draconic, Elvish, and Sylvan.
Good.
I should be able to communicate with them.
Hello? Hello?
Yes?
Are you lost? And you can see behind you with like carrying a basket that's filled with different types of vegetables, and also wearing very loose robes that are kind of silver and green in color. Is a dragonborn around like 2 meters large. Looks feminine in nature. A tail kind of wraps underneath the robes that she's wearing, and she's kind of, appears behind one of the trees. And you can see by her side is also a very small dragonborn that seems to be maybe like a kid or so, that is just tucking behind the robes of the what seems to be the mother, saying, "Excuse me, are you lost?"
Well, maybe a little bit, but also not really.
I
Um,
still work just fine.
yes, we came here on purpose. We were just not expecting to find civilization here, to be honest.
Oh, all right. I mean, you half say you're seeking purpose here. Might I ask who you are?
My name is Isarel Liafina, from Corvali, and these are my friends, Eirik Spanner and Fiera Kron. And
Well, greetings, Israel, Fiera, and Eirik. I guess welcome to this unexpected visit. I also wasn't expecting visits this early in the morning. Oh, we rarely get any visitors. In fact, we don't get any. So I'm just a bit surprised.
Oh, yes.
yeah, yes.
We have a map, and this location was on it. We were very curious.
Yes. We're how do I say this? Okay. We're historians looking at different parts of the continent that have been forgotten, and dragons and draconic entities have been very interesting to us, and we know that this site here is the tomb of a most likely draconic entity, and we were very interested in this area. We did not mean to intrude into your residence. Obviously, we didn't know it was inhabited, so very sorry about that.
No, it's fine. I mean, deliberately so. I mean, if you're historians, you should know our treacherous past with, well, the holy figures that now call this place their home. But it seems like the Veil invited you inside, so I don't see you as a threat.
The veil?
Look around.
Yeah, me too.
Well, you aren't obscured by it, so you won't see it. But we have our protective means, which allowed us to survive for this long. You understand? There are a lot of
Okay.
curious folk around that search for lost legends in not the kindest ways. So we have to deal with them.
Okay, so that reassures me. That reassures me. To be honest, for a minute here, I wasn't sure if we were going to stumble upon a civilization that hadn't seen living souls for hundreds of years. So.
Well, it's also accurate. We don't see much outside our veil. We rarely go outside, so I think.
I mean, you guys know of your unfortunate circumstances in our world, is what I mean. Is like, I'm not coming into here like, hey, breaking news, you guys are extinct, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it happened
Yeah.
couple of hundred years ago, so it's still
Yeah.
very much still inscribed in our history books as an event
Yes.
which we won't
I
easily forget.
think what Azrael means is we're very grateful to meet you, and we would love
Yes,
it
yes.
if you would let us
Yes.
stay and learn and pay respects.
Of
Yes.
course. Sure. Always. We are always open for the opportunities for people to learn. This is the site of learning, after all. Please, I can invite you inside for some nice tea, home brewed, of course.
May I inquire of your name?
Oh, of course, yes. My formalities. I must apologize. My name is Larena Azanax. And this year, come on, you can speak.
I'm Torin.
Torin?
Torin as Athanax.
There you go. I apologize. He's only reached his 3rd year, so he's still learning.
It's nice to see you, and I'll kind of put my hands together and druid craft a little blue flower, and I'll just hand it out to him.
He kind of reaches forward, and the mother kind of, ducks down as he's a little bit shy, and he says, "See, Torin, these are the strange fable creatures I always read you about in our books. They do exist. They're just outside of the veil." And so,
Wow. This is
Nice to meet you.
it's a pretty flower.
"Thank you." And then he just kind of starts munching on it, and the mother's just like, "Yeah, that's how it goes." Anyways, let's bring you inside. Well, I don't want to be too direct, but usually it's always a exciting part of our little tribe when newcomers come inside and are accepted by the Veil, which happens quite rarely. So I guess, well, I'm also curious myself. Some of you must then have an attunement with Silvers, it seems like. Otherwise, you wouldn't have been accepted inside.
Yeah, that would be me. And I'll produce the Eye of Silvus and be like,
Wow.
I'm very connected to Silvus, and I'll just put it back in my backpack.
I see. True adventurous. Wow. I always wondered how it's like, just walking more than 200 feet outside, but you have to,
Dangerous, mortal, sometimes fun. Yeah.
Well, and these times that everything seems to change quite a bit, maybe we will be forced to evacuate at some point as well, but for now, not at least. And then she kind of ushers you towards the staircase that you've seen from the distance, and going closer, you can see that these statues that have been carved are all draconic in nature, though some of them seem to be also fey in nature, and not just elven, but they're the humanoidish creatures, but they have very large, almost insectoid eyes and super long ears, with foreheads that are a little bit smaller than usual. You've never seen a creature like this before, except you, Isabel. These look like dryads in some ways, very fey beings. And as you kind of walk up the stairs, and I assume you follow, you can see all the smaller pieces of decorations that have just cluttered around the outside of the stone, just making it a little bit more lively, a little bit more colorful. And you can, as you're walking up these stairs, also hear sounds from, the other side of the wall of the stone, where there seems to be living quarters of other ones. And she kind of says, all right, well, as you say, you're here for history and study. I think it's probably best if you talk with our tomb keeper, Mendora Alvanax. She is our oldest yet, and, well, teaches us all about our purpose here. And any questions, you can kindly ask her. She's a very kind and gentle woman.
Out of curiosity, how many of you live here?
Oh, we're a small tribe of about 35, I think we are now.
Seems like you've fared pretty well for yourself here.
Yeah, I think we've been doing okay, keeping with ourselves, but well, some of us still get the itch to venture outside. I mean, it does become rather suffocating to only live within the veil that spreads maybe 2 miles out.
Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and thousands of miles away down in the bottom of an ocean. Someone wonders, is this where Sangria is from?
Oh,
Is this where Kai wanted to go?
yeah.
All of those thoughts are happening down at the ocean, at the bottom of an ocean.
Yeah.
I've gotten the hammers before they all died.
Yes, and she kind of takes you all the way up to the stone. There's several segments where you could walk into the interior of this. As you kind of step across, you have a very beautiful view of the surrounding forest, and you can see sometimes on top of the tree crowns, but some of the trees once again are much larger than the actual top of this stone plateau. And as you reach the top, you can see also many different trinkets and small kind of prayer sites have been built around here, with a few pillows that have been placed for people to just meditate and sit there, which a couple have now done so. And you can see that at one of the shrines, the many that surround this large draconic statue, there are two that seem to be a little bit more elderly dragonborn. You can see that one of them has like rather long hair growing from the top, which is a sight you weren't expecting, that dragonborn can grow hair, but it seems they can. And very slumped in their posture, that kind of indicates that they're probably, an older figure. And, kind of standing beside them is a somewhat more broader, healthier male dragonborn. And you can also see just in the way the scales shine, that's the more shiny they are, it seems to be an indicator to how young they are. And the older figure has like very worn out scales that barely reflect any light anymore. It's this very dark green coloration. As you kind of go on top, you hear Launa say, Eldest Tombkeeper, we have unexpected visitors. I've just found them gathering themselves in the forest. They're here to learn. You can see turning around, and as the attention is kind of caught to your group, there are like around 5 dragonborn here. Eyes immediately sparkle, as if you're suddenly a new jewel that has been presented, a rarity, and of great interest. You can see that they break their meditation, just take the moment to kind of take you all in, as you also feel a little bit strange. It almost feels like you're in a zoo, but to you guys, similar to the other way around, never seen each other before. It's like the first time that they probably have seen a human. And you can see one of them even takes out a sketchbook and just starts kind of scribbling inside of it and taking notes. And you can see as the elder turns around and looks towards you all, it's like,
Oh, is that so? I agree.
and you can see the older figures. Please have some patience. She needs a little bit of time.
Where was I?
Hey, you were about to greet them.
Yes, greetings, strangers. and I welcome you to the tomb of Azathia. How may our humble tribe help you in your endeavors, quest for knowledge?
Isorel is really trying really hard to keep everything inside of her, but like anyone with a passive perception above 10 could probably tell that the excitement is boiling out of her head.
Mm-hmm.
And she's just like,
Well, it's wonderful to meet you all. I'm Fiera. This is Izarel and Iron. We come to learn of this place's origin. We know of a war from long ago, but we'd like to learn about Vax and your purpose here, if you guys are safe.
I see. Very well. I guess there's a lot to be discussed. Yeah. Yeah, please, Ashton, help me and lead them to my chambers, please.
Of course, madame. And then the larger Buddha guy kind of slowly walks beside this older figure. And by the way, I forgot to mention this, but they were all talking in Draconic, obviously. But I think every one of you can understand Draconic, correct?
no,
I cannot.
Fiera
I cannot.
can't.
I don't have tongues right now.
Oh,
Oh no.
I apologize. I, for some reason, thought Mrs. Linguistic knew Draconic.
I couldn't think of a reason to learn it in Religious.
Yeah, that's true. That
Yeah,
is true.
yeah.
And for some reason, I thought if
Yeah.
not that, then the tumor to Tiamat's blood would have given you that. But it doesn't. I guess I will just
so
translate it.
I would have translated for Fiera.
Yes, I think if two in the members can speak that, I think the communication will be pretty easy. Yes, my bad. I forgot to mention that. But yeah, you are then led back downstairs into one of the chambers. You can see that a larger, hollowed out portion of this boulder has been made to hold a larger room, and you can see there's a big carpet that seems to be hand sewn, made out of different twigs and wools and leaves that have just been kind of knotted together, and they show a similar depiction of the statue that you see outside, but now in full of how it probably was once in its totality, where you can see it is kind of bracing against a big flaming attack, and this other creature seems to be the best way is like a multi-featherly winged entity that has a body that's similar to that of a griffin. That's, I think, the best way to describe it. So for you, Fiera will probably recognize this. It's looks very celestial to you. And on the sides, there are many shelves with different vials of vegetables and other brews inside of them, as well as displays. Some of them are like animal skulls, some of them are like hand-drawn paintings or painted stones or small carvings of statues that have been made of either dragons or kind of like face symbolisms and stuff like that. And then there's a kind of very comfortable looking chair that has been cushioned with moss on the other end, where it seems to have been naturally grown out of the ground, and maybe through some help it was just kind of made so it grows specifically into the form of a chair. Or maybe there's a druid amongst them, or maybe all of them are druid and they just crafted this chair. It is not quite sure, but you're kind of led towards the end of this room, where she then kind of takes her seat down. And as she was walking beside you, she gave this very small. The impression was that she's like not very tall because she's like hunched over, but you realize that most Dragonborn naturally are just very big, and even her in a slumped form is like around 1 meter 80, which is 5'10" or
5'10". Yeah, 5'10".
yeah, 5'10". So if she would stand up like tall and properly, she would probably reach over 2 meters. And the broad guy next to her, helping her the entire time, who was referred to as Astan, he's like almost 3 meters tall. But he looks like very large, even compared to the other Dragonborn. And the robes that they wear, also just as a reference, are like, typical Greek robes, how you imagine the old Greeks used to wear. So very loose, very draped, often one shoulder is free, the other's not, and they have like many ropes that tie around the waist, and sometimes loose bits hang off with other trinkets and stuff like that. Very in tuned into nature, and it's not unusual that you see bits and pieces of like either moss or vines or something kind of braided around either the neck or the arms. They all seem to adore a lot of small, humble, but kind of charming hoop jewelry. As she sits down, she says,
All right. I had a small premonition, and expected, well, maybe not your arrival, but a arrival. It gladdens me to see it is one of interest and a peaceful occurrence.
It is a great honor to have been invited in here. We are humble historians and researchers and scholars, just looking to learn about our past.
Well, I am glad that your journey has taken you to our small, humble civilization. But I am Tombkeeper Mindora Alvanax, and I am the elder of the Drivarian tribe who sees over the tomb of Azanvax. It
Get a
is
spell check on that
No.
tribe name.
like dry, like literally dry, apostrophe.
Tribe name.
Yeah. It's spelled dry, as in how you would spell dry, and then apostrophe, and then varian, which is how. Okay, I would just spell it. Why am I? Dry varian.
I can sense a rather strong draconic connection in all of you to some degree.
Yes. Especially this one, and I point towards Eirik.
Yes. A fellow of embers, I see. Greetings to you. Haven't had a sight of one of your kind in a long time.
Yeah, it's a pleasure,
Ah,
I'm sure.
pleasure's all mine.
Isorel is very giddy right now.
So, please, all the formalities out of the way, it brings great joy to see and be able to talk to people from the outside. I presume things haven't changed that much towards us.
Well, everyone believes you're all dead
Mm-hmm.
and don't exist anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And if someone sees one, it's kind of a, is it true? Is it not true? They're around here, I guess people are kind of neutral, but if we go towards Canaan, it's still very, very much not well seen, and Greg is frozen.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
yeah.
Well, it seems like your friend has has petrified for a bit. Well,
Yeah.
in shock, some would say.
Yes. Yes. I think we're experiencing technical difficulties.
Oh, that face. Ah,
Oh,
there
there
he
he
is.
is. He's back.
Has
Okay.
has summoned these ones in addition.
Yep.
I mean, the face was very fitting. Bewildered.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I heard you talking for a lot of that,
Oh.
but I lost you guys' videos.
Hmm.
Oh.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, in the holier areas of the world, it's still quite hard for your people.
I see. Oh, well, so not much has changed, it seems like.
Not much has changed, no. I wish it was different. I wish. Oh.
Oh,
Great.
there's a great spell has been casted on this young man over here.
He's fighting inner battles.
I understand.
Wait.
Oh man, this is great.
Yeah. I mean, I think you can hear us for the most part, and once
Yeah.
he fixes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish it was different and people were more open-minded like we are. Well, and I look at Fiera
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like,
Oh, wow, he completely cut off this time. Okay.
And lost my translator.
yep.
Ah,
And I'm like, there's not even a single cloud in the sky.
Nope. My internet, it never disconnected. Nothing happened.
oh, that's for yes.
It
Discord.
could be Discord.
Discord sometimes just
Yeah.
poops.
All right, I guess we can continue.
Yep. Yes.
Carry on.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess what you saying stuff to you guys well.
Oh, yeah, you were talking.
I was talking about like us. Oh yeah, I was looking at Fiera. I was gonna look at Fiera and in common say, can I tell them a little bit more about you?
There's a
and
lot
who
of
you-
things about me.
The
Be all
organization
specific?
you're No, I was gonna say the organization you're affiliated with.
Oh, I mean, technically I'm from there.
Yeah. I think it would be good for them to see that someone from there
Yeah, let them
can
know that
be
people are
peaceful.
branching out.
Yeah,
It is
yeah,
changing
yeah.
slowly.
Even though not much has changed, there is a little bit of change. Oh, I just
Yeah,
wanted to confer with you before I just go out and big reveal,
yeah, that's fine.
And I'll turn back to the woman and I'll say, sorry about this. I just wanted to make sure with Fiera here, just to let you know, Fiera here was born in Canaan and was raised in the holy group that did chase your people out. Um, so even though not much has changed, things are changing, and there are people that are branching out and want to make things right.
Well, uh, we personally do not hold any malice towards what has happened in the past.
Yes.
We understand that the peoples that committed those heinous acts aren't the same people that are in power now.
Yeah.
But we are glad to hear that it seems like society is starting to grow
Slowly. Slowly.
slowly but surely
Slowly. Yes.
in the right direction.
Yes.
And it is essential.
That is. Yes. That is in part why we are here. Because we all believe that reconnecting with our roots is what is going to make things change in a better direction.
Yes, it's a difficult thing for us. Memories are but fleeting moments for our compared to a larger scale, very short lifespan. Yeah. I've seen it in my own grandchildren who wish not to listen to the history that we carry within this tomb, but instead wish to discover their own future. And it is difficult to try and explain to people why what has already happened is so important for the future. Only very few are able to take this to heart in, well, the way it is beneficial for all of us. So it strengthens my resolve and reaffirms that it was correct in the decisions I personally have made to stay here, to keep the law of our lands in a sacred place so that the right people who stumble upon it can learn from our past mistakes to hopefully better the world.
Israel, can you
Yes?
ask? Did that winged creature have a name? The griffin with
Yes.
wings?
Um, Fiera would like to know a a little bit more about what Azenvax is depicted as fighting in the statue.
Of course it is. I... It was a celestial beast in its better days. But from what we know, it showed signs of corruption. It is something that is not well known, but many of those belonging to the Holy Angelic Legions were tainted in some sorts by corruption. It is not...
Demonic corruption?
Indeed. The creature is known as the Bellavira, an arch-crucible. It was a creature of holy lights, meant to protect sacred places, but in its twisted form it became a weapon of mass destruction. One sent here to the forests, named aptly to one of the great gods, Servalon himself.
Yes.
Sent here to destroy it with its holy flames. But Azenvax sacrificed himself in order to prevent this from scorching everything down.
A great sacrifice by Azenvax, I'm sure.
Great indeed. He was one of the main wardens of this forest. Only a step below the emperor of our lands.
The Emperor of your land?
Silvus, of course, dominator of nature.
Okay. This is not the first story that we've heard in a short few months about draconic entities sacrificing themselves to protect the lands here.
Dragons are creatures of great pride, and most swear an oath of absolute loyalty to where they are born, and under all circumstances will protect this place. Some venture out and call a new place their home, but if they do, it is in this new place that is entirely for them sacred. This is why it is not rare, at least in draconic history, that you will find dragons staying and fighting for their homes, even if it means the loss of their own death. It is also the reason why the
dominators, though they could have continued ruling this land, decided to sacrifice themselves to prevent this continent to be afflicted by the corruption that has seemingly spread from the outside.
I have a small, well, no, I have a question. Because I see, when I look around, I see the elven influence, and I've seen some things that have made me think. You know anything of the Dryadalus court?
Of course. We are part of them, which is why we are the Drivethruan. We were a selected branch from the Dryadalus. They were foreigners. They came to our country and seek refuge. It is in our responsibility and lineage to hold their history within our grasp, for if it gets lost, then surely our lands will face the same demise as theirs.
Immediately, Irisarel falls down to her knees and her head goes down to the floor. And she says, "Finally. Finally." And then she looks back up and she says, "I am Isarel Leafina, druid." Hold on. Let me find a good thing. Where am I? Here. Where is it? Here. Okay. I am Isarel Leafina, druid under Isifern, druid of the Dryadalus court and guardian of the shrine of the of that embodied the spirit of the herald of beasts, Mamelith, herald of birth and nature, the daughters of the moon reavers, Sulmotar, daughter of dream.
Well, I thought there were no acolytes of the Dryadalus left apart from ourselves. Well, it is great to see you. Then there might be later that I must show you all something. But before that, I think this should be then an intriguing part for you to learn. The Dryadalus were, as you might not know, they were the first ones who started to migrate. Some 3,500 years ago that started.
Yes.
And they came to our continent to seek refuge. Unfortunately, a lot has happened since their departure, and much of the scriptures they brought with are beaten down, cracked, and lost completely, which is why we still hold so desperately on the bits of fragments that we saved. And she kind of wings out from Pastor's chair like a very old, eroded stone tablet, but within it you can see inscribed very ancient sylvan words. And on it,
You can read that, Fiera.
it says, well, it's titled The Great Migration. And it says, "It was not long after the divine severance, but what terror was brought to us, it felt like divine punishment. Maybe they were dissatisfied with us, but alas, it has driven us from our homes. With great peril and great sacrifice did we journey, afar to the realms of Kings Ilianus. We knew of the legends of their science, the mightiest of all, and one of them was much like us, blessed by the fortune of our most adorned lady. Maybe he can guide us back to a place of prosperity, back to a place of faith." Was one of the journals of one of the dryads that traveled who belonged to the Dreadless Court that we had stored within the chambers of one of our holy temples, which have been lost now. And we also have this one here, which is another one, and then shows us a second tablet, which doesn't have a title, seems to have broken off in the midst of something else. And it just says, "Our home was lost by a catastrophe. Our grandparents do not speaketh much about such troubling time. Horrid it must have been for them to change their face in such a way. All we know is that we are grateful for one of the grand emperors of this foreign land to see reason in the words of our elders when they arrived. Blessing be to the dominator of nature, for he cares much of our lost court. With his aids, perhaps the sapling we carried from home can help us regrow a new one."
That ties it all back to the ruins we found a few voss ago. We found the resting place of Mirvarax. We saw of the legends of the sapling and the coming of the people here in beautiful murals. Sorry, I was looking for the word. And beautiful murals in the temple.
Yes, it is. Or it was the attempt to regrow a tree that would connect us back with the Tree of Power. The roots have become disconnected, and
Yes.
the Dryads believed that with the help of Silvus's attunement towards nature, this could be re-established. And it was successful. A great tree, an ether world tree, was grown on this very land. But it was destroyed during the war. Now it is but an open grave, and only the charred trunk can be seen left there.
Is it the one about 250-ish miles away from here?
Approximately 250 miles. Yes, I believe that
Yes,
would be the
yes.
one. Yes.
Yes. Okay. We've just come from there. Yes.
Probably that's why I feel such kindred spirit within all of you.
Then it must have been faith, or maybe Silver's last guiding breath that you were brought to us here.
I think it was Sylvis. I tried connecting to him last night, and I felt my connection with him sever. He's no longer able to connect to this land.
Yes, I have also felt that terrible tremble. Though in my communion to him, I was aware that this would occur sooner or later.
I was warned as well that it was coming.
I do not know if our world is ready to brace the consequences of what is going to occur now that the Everdome has been shattered. But whatever force that forced them to seal themselves away for centuries is now on the border of our oceans.
Is there space on the ground to open up my portable hole for a minute?
Sure. Yeah, this is a larger chamber, definitely.
Okay, give me 2 seconds.
Oh, well,
Unfold it.
fancy trick.
I'll be right back. I'm gonna jump down in.
Whoa.
Oh, jeez.
All right.
Hasn't done that yet.
He does that sometimes.
I'm coming back. Don't worry. I'm looking for my the jug of water that I took from the pool in the ruins that we were in before.
Right, you did that.
I collected a jug of water from the magic pool
Yeah.
of, that helped save Isorel, and so I'm gonna bring that out, and I'm gonna present it and say, when we were fighting in the ruins, we
That were overtaken by Yonti and
yeah,
the likes.
we were confused and interested by the pool that was in the ruins, and I just so happened to collect some of the water that was in that pool. While we were fighting, Isorel took a decent amount of damage, and we tried to save her, and we used all of our at that time skills and knowledge to try to pull her back, and part of that was done with the water in the pool, and I collected some of it, and it's in this jug. And I don't know if this could do anything for you, or it can help grow back anything. I don't know if it can do anything, but it means more to you, I believe, than to me, because I've been holding it in this jar. You know what? Here, just I'll put it out on the climb out of the hole
And I'll say it's believed to be the tears of Merax that are gathered in that pool.
I see. Well, I am glad to hear that this was splendid. Tears were able to aid you in a dire situation. It is most definitely helpful to us, and I am honored and beyond joy for you to offer this to us. This is sacred water. can be used in the right ways to potentially nurture the right plants. Very well. I think I need to show you now what I was talking about earlier, so you can get a better understanding on what the Daedalus court was trying to achieve. She kind of slowly stands up and says, well, for you historians here, we were once connected to the world tree, or the tree of power. The name stems from that all magical power, no matter how or where it's being weaved, comes from the tree itself. It is impossible to use magic without the connection of the world tree. The Fey courts lived on that tree, nurtured it. They made sure it was healthy. The roots, however, grew only in specific places, but the trees and leaves branched across the entire planet. So as long as the tree is in healthy condition, anyone could use magic. But this obviously changed with the sudden shift of the gods disappearing and the world tree breaking. The court lost its place, and people began to forget where their power came from. Egotistical beliefs made some develop the delusion that power comes from within us. There is a lack of power in all of us. Our mastery of the arcane comes merely from the power around us. If there is no power around us, no matter how well anyone can weave, nothing will happen. Much how as good as you can breathe, if there's no air, every breath is wasted. And that is why there was a lack of understanding by those who weaved magic after the world tree started dying. Because the Daedalus court was not there to teach them how it functions. And then she kind of steps back a bit, and then she kind of weaves her hands, and as you can see her chair suddenly shifts, branches kind of crack open, and then they split open into like a almost like archway. And then as this archway opens, you can see almost like a dimensional door starts to open up, seemingly connecting this realm to a completely foreign one, as suddenly a very luminous, bright lime green, not energy, but just light kind of spills through, and beyond this archway that currently gets constructed, you can see another forest, but very, very different from the Servalon Great Woods. The trees twist in very weird and odd ways. They kind of curl around each other. The leaves have multifaceted colors, ranging from purple to yellows and oranges, silver and gold. The grass is patched with all types of fauna, and the dense brush around kind of almost moves in musically rhythmic ways. It is a odd thing, and one of the trees, you swear it looks like it has a butt, and all of a sudden what Glamour has been saying is somewhat true, as you look in this strange place. And you see, she kind of shows you this, and it says, This is but a mere glimpse into where we lend our power from. But what is most important is what I shall show you next. And then she kind of just casts a spell. She just makes like a minor kind of a thaumaturgy where she like kind of lights a little bit of sparking flame. And exactly in the moment where she does that, as you look out into this mirror image that seems to be going into a different plane, you can see one of the bushes just starts to burn up and turns to ash. Every time we use power from the world tree, we borrow from it. Each spell casted is one tree from the tree of power. And because there's no one left to nurture this tree, slowly but surely, with the use of every single spell made, we have been burning up the very thing that has been giving us life and power. And she kind of just... And then the door kind of collapses back down into a chair again, where she sits down.
I hadn't seen this place in so.
And soon, we may never will. But it has been a great long time since I have last felt this emotion. Hope, I believe. You carry with you the last dying will of Silvus. Your friend over there has the lost embers of one of the lords in the flaming cities, and this strange young woman has all sorts of things going on with her. I have never seen such a array of strange individuals collected in a room together. Now this might be a sign of the ever-growing entropy and madness of this slowly dying world, or it might just be that sign of ludicrous hope that it needed.
I'm just gonna add one more strange thing to the thing. We usually have a Shatter Kai with us, but weird Time Lord top hat guy has some work for her, so she's busy somewhere else right now.
She's in the shadows.
She's in the shadows, yeah.
I see. In the shadows there are a lot of things dwell there.
Yes. I think you broke Greg, by the way.
That was one of the funniest things you've ever said.
What can I say?
Just telling it straight.
Yeah,
There's just a lot of things going on.
It was the most polite way of saying, what a fucking weirdo.
Oh boy.
And with that, I think it is only worth the how should we call it? Not heritage. The word escapes me. But this is better in your keeping. Once you feel like the world has become a I don't believe I'm going to say this, safer place. Plant this, and you will see the fruits of your labor come to life.
And then she kind of opens her hand, and you can see a small tree start to grow. And then above, like a flower, it opens up and reveals a small seed that is about this large. That is almost like translucent and has like rainbowy colors glowing all around it. We're meant to preserve this, to wait for a better time so we can re-establish the connection that was once lost. I don't believe we will make much of a change here. And as I said, seeing lost souls such as yourself, who just so happen to stumble upon our veiled home, I see this as either last chance or a smiling opportunity from a yet dying god to give grace to our world and the last bit of hope that remains. And kind of just ushers it over towards you, Isorel. I was given this seed when I was 16 years old by my grandmother. She died 2 years later. And it felt like the responsibility of the entire world was suddenly placed onto my shoulders. But nonetheless, as long as there is a next generation who bears this, and it might not even be you, the next one, as long as the seed is carried and given on, our hope won't die, and this world won't perish. So in all my years, I pray to you, Isorel, Fiera, and Eirik. Do not lose hope. Do not succumb to the pressure. For if you do, may a peaceful death embrace you.
I see this seed not as a responsibility, but as a motivation to keep going, to keep fighting, to keep doing what we're doing right now. And as you said, if I'm not the one to plant it, then I will ensure that it goes to someone that will hopefully be able to, someone who believes in the same things we do. But having both our past and our future in this seed in my hands is the greatest motivator I can have. And it is an honor to have been given this opportunity to hopefully make things better for everyone. And it is humbling to have met some of the keepers of the court. A few months ago, like what, couple Vosses ago, maybe like 8-10 Vosses ago, this moment right here, me talking to you, would have been my life goal. It was my life goal, to find a court, to find the remnants of the court, anyone from the court. And it's now gone so much more beyond all of that. I will not let you down. I will not let the court down. And I will not let Azathia down.
And that's where we're gonna end today's episode. Yeah.
Well, checklist, long time goal. I found the court. That was literally one of Isorel's goals when I started the campaign. Find a court.
Gotta explore the map.
Yeah, it is fruitful. And I find it crazy that you chose exactly that spot to go to. I'm like, wow.
It's calling to her.
Yeah.
Holy shit is all I have to say.
Yeah,
I am so excited by all of this. It's insane.
I held on to that pool water for 60 episodes.
That's crazy. That's
It's
crazy.
there.
That is crazy. Yeah, for the teleport I rolled a 82. No, 87.
Ooh.
Excuse me, 87.
Had to be above
Damn.
74, I think.
Yeah. So yeah,
Good.
that could have definitely
Wow.
went very differently. That's what God, I'm sure. Yeah. After a long time no playing, immediately a burden of the world here on your shoulders. There you go. So you can...
I'm flabbergasted. I'm like, it's not just Isorel that is giddy. I'm also giddy. Like, I didn't think that I would get to the court before episode 100.
Wow.
I honestly thought that finding the court would have been like an end game thing.
Mm.
Well, you're in the early end game. I mean, level 13 is already...
Well, yeah, but I feel
Yeah.
like I felt like I know we're like going towards the end of the game, but like in my brain, I would have saved the tree and then the court would have found me, and not the other way around.
Oh, really?
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
Ooh.
Alright.
So yeah,
Yeah, I don't
I'm-
know when or how we're gonna save the tree. That's...
I don't know as well, but I got the seed now,
Yeah.
which I have to put in my
Yeah.
inventory because I know I'm gonna forget about it.
Oh, Jesus. Seed of give the world a second chance.
Yeah.
Well, as a grow first.
Keep
That's the
that
thing.
safe.
Just drink a little bit of Tiamat's blood on there and then it should grow just fine.
Oh,
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
Tiamat's blood in my backpack. In
Oops,
my,
the vial
in
just
my
happened
bag
to
of
break.
holding.
But no, Fiala
It's
took
in
it,
the bag
right?
of holding.
yeah, I'm attuned to it.
Oh right.
Yeah, you
Mhm.
sneakily took it out. Well, not sneakily, but... Oh,
Yes,
no,
right. I have to
sneakily.
remove it.
Uh,
Remove it.
well,
Delete.
wherever this goes next week, probably very scatterbrainy, with what your next step is going to be.
I have no idea what to do. Yep.
And your ideas that you're thrown crazy.
I
Second
Yeah,
chapter in
we have to
hell.
somehow go from my extreme to like Irik's lower. I don't know. Can do anything.
if you would have told me like 6 hours ago that like this is what we would have found, I would have said in your dreams. In your dreams. Now what do we do?
Yep.
Yeah. What do you do? That's a good
This
question.
is yeah. It's the same question
Make-
as usual. What the hell do we
Make the
do?
world a safer place.
Yep.
It's just yet another avenue that has opened up.
Jeez.
Yeah. Maybe it's about time I just put you into an enclosed space and you can only go in one direction.
I mean, you did that with the dungeon, basically.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Maybe we crushed it too.
That's also true.
Damn.
You did crush it.
Plowed through it.
But not all can be easy. Sometimes difficult choices have to be made. Yeah, well, I'm excited to see what you plan to do next, because I got also no idea how I'm supposed to prep for what you have decided. So I'm shooting myself in the leg right now.
Yep.
Yeah, but that's part of the fun. So see you guys next week, and until then, both parties will have it figured out. Hopefully, maybe we won't, but we'll see. Bye.